Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Small Roles, a D&D podcast where there are no small roles, just small actors. Tiny, tiny actors whispering sweet nothings into your ear holes. I'm David Knight. I'm Dungeon Master for this bunch of ramblers. Everybody say hi.
Hello!
And if you've gotten this far, you should have some idea of what you're getting into. So, cue the theme tune.
Prepare your party of players and polyhedral dice. Your tragic backstory better be worth the sacrifice. Seize your sheets and D20. Let's play D&D. Your haggard character swaggers with daggers in each hand. You've all discussed what you must, but even better lay plans. Take a turn when checks are missed.
Roll initiative. Brandish your blades. Don't fail your saves. No risk too great, no choice to roll. This is your story. No guts, no glory. Confront your fate with every roll. Every
rises inside, one who will pay the price. Then chance of success or rest upon the dice. No risk too great, no choice too bold. This is No Small Roles.
So, after each journeying through the Lockholt Wood to reach Tillisham, the party met in the Knocking Point Tavern, only to find that the entire brewery had already been stolen. You paid for rooms and headed for the only other drinking spot in town, the Woodman and Wolf, where you met some of the locals, including the guard captain's daughter, Atrella, who was very upset due to a recent breakup with a young noble, Trimpt Vondel. When you returned to the Knocking Point, the barkeep Iris agreed to refund your room fee if you could discover who had robbed him. A brief drunken investigation of the site found some magical oil, and with Orryn's detect magic goggles, discovered that some conjuration magic had also been used on the inside of the door frame. Iris assumed that the witch in the woods had taken it, as the only other known spellcaster in town was Lady Vondel, the town's noble leader. The next day, you followed various leads around town, attempting to deliver a letter to Dr. Ardasin Hograd, who was apparently missing, and whose office was similarly robbed. Whilst Gwendellyn continued her search for her bardic lover Dwayne, she found out that he had auditioned for the Vondel family, and then she gained an invitation to luncheon the following day by a rather forward Trimpt. After Juna found herself drawn into conversation with an overly chatty cobbler, you were told that if anyone had seen the doctor recently, it would probably be one of the guards, Mere Nellis, whose mother took regular medicine for gallows cough. Mere, however, did not know the doctor's whereabouts and, worried that their mother would not receive the needed medicine, asked if you would approach Ruana Witten, the witch in the woods, for help. Deciding to go and find the witch for answers, you headed out into the wood. So, it's past noon as you step beyond the first trees of the Lockholt. The canopy is casting dappled shadows on the roots and moss below. The sounds of the forest wildlife chirp and buzz around you, and even though you've all experienced some unpleasantness on your travels through the wood recently, you can't help but enjoy the calm atmosphere of the woodland. It's very nice. So, who is taking the lead in wandering into the woods?
I think Gwendolyn will be on quite a direct. She's really moving. She's getting through. She wants to make things happen. She's full of lots of aggression, and she needs to take it out on something.
I think Juna's bringing up the rear.
I'm waiting with Juna.
Oh, you're so lovely, Enkidu. Oh, lovely boy.
As a question, does anyone know where they're going?
We're going into the woods.
Well, we had an encounter in the woods yesterday, actually, it was, with a lady with copper hair.
It can't do any harm, can it, to go back to where we came from?
I mean, you say it can't do any harm, but she did do quite a bit of harm to us.
I mean, we didn't die, did we? We just nearly died.
Yep, that is true, to be fair. We didn't die.
While that is a sound reasoning, I would cast a bit of doubt on this theory. If this woman was the witch, I'm not saying that she isn't, she potentially could be. Why didn't she use some kind of sophisticated magic to do away with us? Why does she have to go out of her way to knock us out and then leave us to the mercy of that cave?
Well, no one in the town seemed to be that clued up either. They just kept telling us stories about people who disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again until they came back a day later.
Let's also keep in mind, folks, that we don't want to necessarily start a fight with this lady. We just want to get some information, like,
Gwendolyn realises that everyone's really far behind her, and so she starts marching back to join everyone.
What creatures are around? What of these lovely wildlife noises that we can hear? What small beasts
of the
might be
wildlife,
around?
there's a fair few birds and little insects and things. A few little sparrows, like hopping from bush to bush.
Could Juna approach a sparrow?
Yeah.
And she's gonna sort of just come quite near the sparrow, leaning on her little stick, and she's gonna talk to the sparrow and say, little fella, do you know the witch in the wood, Ruana Witten, by any chance?
The little sparrow sort of like hops across a couple of different branches. Isn't that afraid of you, actually, especially as it seems to have an understanding of what it is that you're saying to it, which is a question. Can everybody else hear you using like common language, or does it sound like bird talk?
I think it sounds like human talk. So it looks like she's just gone up to a sparrow and talking.
Just chatting away. Right, amazing.
Yeah.
Look like we've fallen into Snow White.
So yeah, it jumps from branch to branch for a moment, like cocks its head, and then like through like little ruffles of its feathers, and like the way it tilts its head directly at you, and a couple of little chirps, you seem to understand that it has heard of her, but it doesn't necessarily know exactly where she is.
Well, he doesn't know exactly. This little sparrow, actually, that has heard of the witch, but can't help us, I'm afraid. So there we go.
You've just talked to a sparrow, okay?
Well, if a sparrow lives in these woods and the witch is here, anything unnatural, they'd be the first ones to see it, wouldn't they? I mean, that's a solid thing to do.
Sparrow, do you reckon you could maybe fly towards where it might be?
You're finding this very strange.
No, I'm very aware how weird it is watching this gnome talk to this sparrow.
This little sparrow sort of chirps a little bit to you, flies up to another little tree, and you can see it sort of like flown up to another sparrow, starts chip, 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 and that little sparrow flies over to another little sparrow, who starts chirping away again. And the third sparrow sort of flies down and lands on the bush in front of you, Juna, and sort of like chirps a little bit at you and like ruffles its feathers, like flaps its wings once, which you understand as meaning this one can lead you some of the way.
She turns around and says, "This is our sparrow. This is the one. Oh, take us by all means. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you."
And this little thing, like sort of brown mottled little sparrow, little pointed beak, sort of flies up tree to tree and sort of leading you in a way. It doesn't feel in a very direct route as you begin to follow it, and he just flies from one tree to another and just stops there, waits for you to catch up, and then flies another way, a little way ahead. And this goes on actually for quite a while. How far into the woods are you willing to follow this sparrow?
As far as it takes.
Yeah.
While we're walking, can I just like lean over to Gwen and just be like, Gwen, have you, because you know Juna from way back, have you ever witnessed her speaking with like little animals and woodland creatures? Is that her thing?
I didn't actually know they could really listen back. I just thought it was Juna being Juna and talking to animals, but or talking to herself. It's just a very Juna thing to do, really. But it's really
okay.
I'm quite surprised that they can hear her. So that's something new I've learned. But it's very useful.
Yeah. Well, that is yet to be determined. But absolutely, let's see how this goes.
At least there's more of us than last time.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to see any undead thing.
Let's not show them we're scared.
No, that's so true. I'm not scared at all. Like.
Gwendolyn holds his hand in a reassuring way, not in a sexy way.
Juna following up the rear, just like, oh.
Oh.
She hears Juna go, oh, and kind of like slowly like moves her hand away as though it was just like an accident.
Oh.
Like, like when you like go, like brush your hands through your hair sort of thing. She's like...
So as you're all following this sparrow, like I say, it's a good couple of hours of this thing. Heading, you realise, more northward. It's not in a direct line. You do find yourself like weaving backwards and forwards as it's trying to find trees and bushes to land on, and occasionally gets distracted in itself by berries and like stopping for a drink and all the rest of it. But what are you doing as you're following it? Like I say, it's a good couple of hours of tromping through the woods.
I think Orryn's going to pull out sort of various little bits and pieces that he keeps in his bag and just sort of fiddle with inventions, little bits and pieces as he walks along.
I think Juna's asking him lots of questions. Oh, what's that? That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, that's a spanner.
Oh.
Yeah, no, useful. Yeah, very useful. Got different sizes. There's different things need different size spanners, you see. So different ends on them as well.
How interesting. Can you fix anything with that spanner?
Yeah, I mean, I can fix pretty much anything. I mean, not necessarily with the spanner. I mean, I've got other bits and pieces as well. You know, sometimes you need a blowtorch. Sometimes you need a hammer. Sometimes you need a wrench.
What a handy boy you are.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm going to leave that up to Ben. Like, he's in charge of all inventions in this world. Of all mechanical things, he's deciding what is all called.
Everything. I am the god of invention.
Enkidu, what are you doing over the few hours of travel?
As soon I'm checking around to see if no one's too close to me, apart from Juna, who I decide to like stick behind sometimes to make sure she's with us.
Make a perception check.
16.
16. Oh, okay. Actually, you're keeping a fairly good watch out as you're walking. Then, there's a few times that you do see sort of moving cat-like shapes further off. That, especially from what Gwendellyn and Gaius have told you. Like you're like, there's panthers over there, but they never seem to come too close. Especially where the five of you are making a fair amount of noise, tromping through the. Keep saying tromping through the forest, making your way.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I was trying and whisper to my patron.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you sort of have a little talk. What do you say? What do you whisper?
Are you there? Is there? What am I doing? Is this even remotely relative to what's important?
Make a charisma check. Just a straight charisma.
Okay, so that's 14.
Okay. So probably after about sort of 5-10 minutes, after you sort of stop saying things out loud and start internalizing as you walk, you do just get a very, very so quiet just in the background, just in the back of your head. There's a very familiar sense, and just the words, "Keep going, brother," and that's all you get. But at the same time, you like that sense of like comfort and like you know that they're with you as you're walking. You still don't really understand what everything is happening to you, but just that brief little whisper is just enough to be like, okay, all right, no answers yet, but a bit of comfort.
That's a lot. Yeah, cool. And I kind of whisper thanks and just carry on walking.
So, Gwendolyn and Gaius, then, what are you two doing?
Guy, I realised I've known you for a little while now, and I've never actually asked you about your mask.
Oh, yeah, this thing? Oh, yeah, it's just like a shtick. It's just like a thing. But, it's just sticking the thing with a purpose. Like, it, adds a bit of mystery to my character. I'm very, I'm a simple guy, simple needs, that sort of thing. So, everyone's got to have a shtick, so this is my shtick.
Shtick? I've not heard that expression before.
Oh, yeah, it's just, it's kind of my thing. Yeah.
Do you ever take it off?
Well, no, not really, because it's like, it's like, well, there was this tale once I heard of this guy called Superman, and basically, Superman had a choice whether to take his clothes, not his whole clothes, no, God, not his whole clothes, but change his clothes, because he had super clothes and he had normal clothes. But I like the idea that he always wears super clothes, so I would just wear the super mask all the time.
Well, it's super, just like you.
Ah, thank you very much.
Yes, but if you ever did want to take it off,
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. But don't worry, not a need, because this guy, like you say, he's super, and I will start picking up the lute and start playing a song, the Ballad of Superman.
Yes.
Can you make a performance check, please?
By episode 5, I want the full version.
A 19.
That's a pretty stunning song. Even the rest of you, like, sort of listening as you're walking along, just like, by the end, you're all like singing that same little refrain to each other.
Oh, what a tune!
Oh, well, thanks very much. Like, like, not a lot of people enjoy, like, my kind of music, but, hey, if it gets those gears going, as our man Orryn would say, hey, that's all I need.
Orryn goes a little bit red.
So, out of everyone, Enkidu's probably kept the best eye on where the sparrow's going. As the only one to say that he was watching things. But Juna's watching.
Juna's watching the sparrow too.
She is getting a bit distracted by Orryn's, but it gets to probably about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, as you know it, and none of you have eaten since breakfast.
Juna might have a little bit of a forage. She's got one eye out for these like blueberries.
Of course, because you're after.
Anyway,
you're going to the witch to help Mir, to see if you can find any sort of bluish berry type potion for Gallows cough. So yeah, if you want to make a survival check or a nature check, actually, I suppose it's up to you what you're looking for.
Cool. I'll do nature. 17.
17, yeah.
18,
even better. So you don't find any bluish berries, but you do find a couple of fruit-bearing trees that have got like little pear type things hanging from them. They look really quite good enough to eat. And whilst you've not necessarily eaten that exact breed of pear before, like you're fairly certain with an 18 that it's safe food.
Anyone fancy a pear?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take some.
I'm not sure if I can reach from here, so
I can climb.
Maybe Gwen, if you pick a few from the branches.
Absolutely. I start shimmying up the tree to try and get like the tallest.
As soon as she starts climbing, the Enkidu casts Mage Hand just above where she's trying to get to and plucks it off before she gets to it. And he finds that hilarious. Like,
can you both make sleight of hand checks to see who gets there first?
natural 20.
Hey,
No.
Oh.
I got a 13. But okay, so if I was like going to swipe for it,
Yeah.
then maybe I should just check like I'm able to keep my balance when I miss it.
Please do. Acrobatics or athletics, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Did you say athletics or acrobatics?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a 24.
24. Oh, yeah, you're perfectly fine. So, yeah, you do have a very slight wobble from everyone down at the base of the tree. Like, even Enkidu, you have that moment of regret that you're like, oh, maybe she's going to fall over on this. And very deftly, Gwendellyn is, like, basically holding onto the trunk with her knees. Like, swings out. It looks like she's falling back and then just, like, holds her position and just pulls herself back upright.
Like a really good pole dancer, right?
Really good pole dancer. Like, super impressive. Like, almost like soldier army level type of athletics going on. It's very impressive.
Yeah, Enkidu sees that and he kind of like, he narrows his eyes and goes, huh.
And then I look at Enkidu and I go, huh. And I go and get some more pears.
Enkidu like looks away, but he's got a small little smirk.
Like I start like kind of trying to throw them to everybody. Like, oh, catch this one! I'm just loving being up in the tree.
And even that little sparrow is like bouncing around branch to branch around you, like enjoying almost like the playfulness of you like grabbing fruit out of the tree. And when one like inevitably somebody doesn't catch one down at the bottom, like it just flies down and starts like pecking away. Gwendolyn, actually, from up where you are, can you make a perception check?
That is a 17.
17. Oh, lovely. So just from your vantage point, you can see a bit of a small clearing. Like as you sort of look out across like some of the treetops, you see that it clears a little bit, dips down, and you can see just in amongst it, there's some deer grazing just there, not too far from you.
I can see just in clearing over there that there is a group of deer. If anybody's interested.
I kind of look at Orryn and kind of shrug like, we do have gear that's appropriate for hunting.
I can go hunting. Are we staying here for a bit? Was that the plan?
I mean, it's free food.
One deer could probably see us through for this expedition, at least for a few days.
Yeah.
Yes, I can show you the way very stealthily.
Maybe not so stealthy. That would be a 6.
A 6. Oh, wonderful. So maybe as you're getting a bit distracted by dropping the pears into your bag, do you have a moment that like you're like, okay, being sneaky, trip straight over a root, almost let out a little squeal. Even from actually like as you're sneaking closer to the deer though, you make the noise and they don't react. Like in just a little bit through the trees that you can see, they don't react. They're still there. They're still like grazing on something.
Juna says, hello. I don't know if she can talk to that size beast.
Hello, I'd like to eat you today. Is that all right?
Which, Juna, you'd probably know that they were a bit big. You're still welcome to talk to them anyway. You want to try? But like you'd know.
Yeah, she just says hello, and nothing happens, and she just sort of sits on a.
Yeah, and they're still, like I say, they're still not moved, even with that little calling out. One of them like maybe lifts their head a little bit, but then it's like straight back into eating. They're all gathered.
Do they look like normal deer, or do they look...
Perception check.
Do they
And
look
you're
odd
probably
in
about
some way?
30 feet away at this point, sneaking in as you can.
6.
6.
No idea.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh dear. So
More of that if you keep subscribing to this podcast.
that's our level of comedy. Yeah, no, they look fine from where you are, Orryn.
Are we doing this? I'm going to start pulling the short bow off my back.
Like, okay, Orryn, shall we agree to attack the same deer? Double the chances of success of at least eating one, because one would do us well for the night. Whatever's closest.
I point at the deer that's closest.
And kind of nod.
Just so we're on the same page. That one?
That one, yeah, that one.
String my arrow.
I string
pull it
mine
back.
as well.
Cool, if you could both make attack rolls then, please.
Natural 20.
Woo! 15.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
So that's a 21.
Yeah, they both hit. They both strike. Roll your damage.
Oh, I rolled a 6, so 8.
Is there like a baby deer, like far off, like sat next to another rabbit that's thumping its foot?
No.
And a skunk.
Oh no, Bambi.
No, they're all fully grown deer. They've all got like their hinds to you. Like I say, they're sort of chowing down on something. What was the damage again from both of you?
8 from me.
1 from me.
Oh, amazing. So both of you strike the same deer, and it like drops to the floor almost straight away. And that's when sort of the others actually turn their faces to you. They lift up out of the bloody mess that they're eating, and just slowly like turn to where the arrows are looking. Their faces scratched up, covered in blood. And actually, now that you've got a bit more look at their face, some of their necks as well have been like torn and gashed open. And this one deer that's dropped to the floor that you've just shot 2 arrows into, just slowly like forces its way back up and just turns and looks at you all as well. Can you roll initiative, please? Roll initiative.
I don't like it.
That's insane.
I don't think they're normal deer.
Oh no.
Okay.
Initiative, 25 to 20.
That resounding
20
silence.
to 15.
17.
18.
Wonderful. Who got 15 to 10?
15.
10 to 5.
7.
So, Juna, you're first up. These 5 deer are gathered around a bloody mess, all of them staring at you, all of them clearly undead in some way. You can just about make out, and especially from the reactions of Orryn, Enkidu, and Gwendellyn, and even Guy next to you, just a slight panic in him. You realise there's danger.
Juna sort of heaves herself up off the rock with her quarterstaff and takes some sort of tentative but relatively calm steps forward and sort of looks round sort of the bush tree which is in her way, and a la revealing the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park with a terrifying zombie deer tinge, she sees the deer, raises up her staff and points the staff towards the deer and casts Chill Touch. So a necrotic, zombie-like, bony hand weaves its way out of the end of her quarterstaff and the nearest deer to her She grabs it with this like disgusting necrotic hand and grabs it by the scruff of its neck.
Amazing. Make an attack roll.
12.
12 misses.
No!
What?
She turns around and goes, "It's been a while since I've used this one."
Enkidu's heart was like in his mouth. He was like, "Oh my gosh, she's amazing!" And then he was like,
Yeah, especially where like this one is still like the closest one was the one that was shot down in the first place. It's still making its way up. It sort of stumbles a moment, just as this hand like passes over to grab it and just then fizzles out into necrotic smoke. Orryn, it's your turn.
Okay, so Orryn is kind of crouching behind the bush where he's sniped this deer, which he's then witnessed just get up off the ground and come back to life, seemingly, or undeath, or whatever it is. I think he's gonna put his bow away. He's gonna pull out his welding torch off his belt, grab a couple of tools, and just sort of adjust the range a little bit from where he is. Point it towards the nearest deer that he can see, the one that he's already hit with an arrow and seems to have got back on its feet. And fire his welding torch of firebolts.
Yeah, make your attack.
18.
18 hits. 18 hits. Your damage.
2 points of fire damage.
Points of fire. So again, same guy at the front. You're like, the arrow didn't work. So this little like burst of flame. When it comes out of especially over that distance, obviously a welding torch is quite a small flame normally. So does it just come out as a longer flame, or does it like float off?
I think it comes out at that distance, and I think that's so when he's gone in and he's adjusted it. So rather than coming out in a continual flame like the normal welding torches, he's adjusted with it. Instead, like a little globule of fire like flies out the end of the welding torch, and you just see it arc through the sky to impact rather unsuccessfully on this undead deer thing.
And it does. You can see it collide with like its side, and like instantly burn away some of the fur and the flesh just there. But this thing like doesn't seem to be all that bothered, and just like starts like lumbering its way over to you.
Okay, it's coming towards me. Then can I have a?
Oh yeah, bonus action stuff.
Yeah, bonus action. So can I just have a quick look around at my companions and see if anyone has an obvious weapon that they look like they might be going to use?
Enkidu's got a scimitar. And Juna's got her staff.
And Gwendellyn has a spear.
Gwendolyn's got a spear. Oh, and Gaius has got a big longsword on his back.
Okay, I'm gonna hold fire on that, but I'm just gonna keep an eye out just to see if anyone's gonna be using any weapons in this fight. And I'm gonna stay where I am, please.
Cool. It's the deer's turn. The 5 of them, like especially having this fire like thrown over at them, just start like lumbering forward, and it gets up to a little bit of a gallop. And yeah, all 5 come running over. Like some of them have got little antlers on their heads, and just start ploughing into everyone that's down at the front.
Oh, you do know I live next to Richmond Park, baby David. I'm never going to be able to go back in there anymore.
Mate, I took a walk through Bushy Park this morning, and I was like, oh, look at these deer. Undead deer. So, with the way that the 5 of you have sort of bottlenecked yourselves in between a bush and a fallen tree, only 3 of the deer managed to get close, but one of them goes straight for you, Orryn. Interestingly, it doesn't try and get you with its antlers. It tries to bite you, but it rolls a 6.
No, that misses.
No, so it's like its teeth, and like especially up close, you can see how its mouth has just been like torn in different places, and there's rips right the way through its skin and its fur, and it's quite matted with mud and blood all over it, and it's just gnashing at you. But you manage to duck out of the way. One of them goes for you, Juna.
Figures.
Which is a 15 to hit.
It hits.
It hits, and you take 2 points of piercing damage as, again, like its disgusting little mouth just starts like gnashing away, and it just like it goes to bite you, and you whack your stick up, but it just like manages to peek past and like chomp into your chest. And finally, the last one's going to go for you, Enkidu, but it only rolls a 7.
It misses.
Yeah, that wasn't all that good, was it, that round? But yeah, so you managed to just parry it, knock its head out of the way so that it doesn't land. But yeah, there's 2 more behind these 3 that are just like pushing forward and like almost clambering over the 3 in front to try and like get to you all. But Gwendolyn, it's your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to move a little to my right. I'm moving a little bit to my right so I can get a clearer shot at some of these deers. I'm going to go for whichever one's kind of... I mean, they all look pretty bloody, but the one that look the most damaged. And she is going to reach into her coat and get one of her very fine darts. And these darts are beautiful. They have pearl on them and some gorgeous, beautifully coloured feathers at the end. And so she takes this dart and she aims for the eye. So 18 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Clyde's right with this thing's eye.
Okay, and that is 5 damage.
5 damage. So this one, again, it's the same one it's got 2 arrows stuck out of its bum and half of it's sort of burnt down one side. And then this dart just goes flying through the air. Especially it's the one that's launching its way into Juna as well. And this dart just skims Juna's head and goes straight into this deer's eye. And there's this horrible popping noise as it lands and collides, and its entire head just rocks backwards, and the thing collapses onto the ground.
And as I can do a bonus action unarmed strike, what I want to do is the deer right in front of Enkidu. I basically want to kind of run at it and kick it in the face, but then as I'm doing that, I'm kind of using it to jump up into that tree. Okay,
make an attack roll first.
That's a 12.
A 12, so it doesn't actually hit. But you do, obviously, you're trying to do this cool jump thing. So make an acrobatics check as well.
Okay.
Essentially just to see if you go flying over the deer.
Acrobatics, you say? That's a 13.
A 13. So you land in the branches of the tree, and you realize, obviously this is a nice fallen tree that you've all been hiding behind. That as you land in it, it's a lot less solid than you would think, it being the top of a tree. So you sort of land and just get tangled a little bit in some of the broken leaves and land awkwardly with your ankle. You're still on your feet, but you're okay.
I'm okay.
It is Enkidu's turn. Obviously, this deer's just come gnashing at you, and then Gwendolyn's almost run just around you, done a weird flip over it.
What was that? Goodness me! And the one in front of me, I Hexblade Curse. That's 4 points of slashing damage altogether.
4 points. Do you know what? That's actually enough.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. You manage to you swing your sword around, and with the hex energy that's surrounding it, your blade is almost driven directly into its neck, and you slice downward. You think that's a pretty strong hit, and this thing lumbers for a moment, almost knocks into Gwendolyn, rocks back again, and then just steadies itself, collapses, but then just as it's about to hit the floor fully, its legs just start pushing it back up again.
Oh my gosh!
And even though it's got a massive gash in the side of its neck where you've got it, it's almost it's down to the spine. This cut, its head is still, even though barely attached, is still just looking directly at you.
I didn't notice. Did I kill that other deer?
You did, yeah,
cool.
And it didn't get back up.
Awesome, lovely. I certainly didn't notice that because I was so excited about jumping into a tree.
You got your priorities right.
Yeah.
Look cool, then worry about the killing the deer.
And right now, at the back, Gaius is absolutely thinking that's a fantastic idea as he starts looking around for any climbable trees. He can't see any, and he's really upset by this, so he's like, oh god, okay, okay. And he just whips out his battered up lute, and he will look towards Juna, who looks right in the thick of it, and we'll just start riffing off oh, against the might of Juna, you're definitely gonna face death sooner. And she will like get bardic inspiration for that, so that's a d6. Okay, who looks really bad right now?
Juna, I think, is the only one that's taken any damage so far.
Okay, in that case then, oh gosh, I can't think of anything else. I'm gonna make oh Juna, you're lovely like the light of a lunar eclipse. And then that doesn't make sense. And then you will get back some lovely healing, which will be 5 points of healing.
That's very nice of you. I can only take 2 of them, though. But Juna appreciates it.
And Juna, it's now your turn.
Oh, brilliant. So sort of like with the bardic inspiration, she feels all warm, and having seen Gwen just shoot the deer in front of her in the eye, she sees another deer right in front of her, the one that's gone for Orryn, and it's not got Orryn, has it?
No, it's
gone
just
for
snapping
him.
away at him.
And what Juna would like to do is she's got her quarterstaff out pointed in front of her, and she's going to lift it up above her head, and she's going to try and jab the butt, like the bottom bit of the quarterstaff, just in the eye of the other deer that's around her.
Make an attack roll.
Screw it, I'm going to just roll my bardic inspiration. 10! Come on, DM, 10!
It's unfortunately still too low.
It's still busy.
So yeah, this thing is thrashing about, and the more that it can't get to Orryn, the more like chaotic its movements are becoming. So as you're like trying to like jab it, especially like directly in the eye, you do sort of like touch it a little bit as you just catch its chin, but not enough really to do any damage. But you're just like poking it basically. It takes some notice
like
of
a
you.
specimen.
yeah, like more like poking it off like away rather than actually like doing any damage. Orryn, it's your turn though.
Okay, so Orryn finds himself face to face with this rather infuriated looking deer in front of him. And having had a look around and seeing if people are using weapons or not, he's kind of like, I think my weapon's going to be as useful as anyone else's. He's going to pull out his quill from his pouch, and he's just going to pull out his little hammer, which he keeps on his belt, and he's going to quickly carve like a couple of little symbols almost into his hammer, turning it into a magic weapon.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's going to try and hit the deer in front of him with his now magical hammer. With the magic weapon, that is an 18.
That hits, yeah.
We'll do 6 points of hammer damage. I don't know what type of damage it is. Bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning damage.
6 points of
so
magical bludgeoning damage.
yeah, with this thing's face right up in your space, you get your hammer, you lift it high, like having scribbled on it, and bring it straight down onto its snout, and its snout almost drops completely to the floor, twitches, and then even just in the dirt starts like towards your feet.
I don't know how you kill these things.
Oh, didn't quite hammer at home.
Hey.
We are honoured with the puns tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
No small puns.
Nailed it.
Okay, it's the deer's turn, and I hope they kill you all.
Don't worry, our new characters will have just as bad.
So the one going for your feet, Orryn, it's going to roll a 15 altogether. Does it hit?
Yeah, that will hit. That'll get my feet.
Cool. You only take 1 point of piercing damage as it like snaps into your chomps into your foot. You have to shake it off a little bit, kick away. One of the ones that's sort of been stuck behind and is scrambling over runs right the way down and starts lashing at you, Enkidu. It's 13 to hit.
Miss.
All right, you're okay. The second one that was in the sort of second ranks runs at you, Juna. Starts biting, and that rolls an 11 to hit you.
Haha, it doesn't hit.
Oh, these deer, they're not very good, these zombie deer. Like I say, they're very loose-mouthed. The one that you managed to gash his neck open, Enkidu, that actually turns its attention over to Gwendellyn, who's just like leapt over it. So it rolls an attack, and it rolls a 4 altogether.
It does not hit.
It was a very successful
Shock.
round for the deer there. But basically, all 4 of them, yeah, you can see them getting angrier and angrier as they're struggling to eat any of you. But there's a lot of like blood spray as they're like flashing their faces around. It is Gwendolyn's turn.
Right, I'm gonna get my spear from my back, and I am going to basically try and just like smash it down through the deer right in front of me, the one that's face is hanging off. 10.
10 does not hit, unfortunately. Maybe it's because its head isn't staying in one position for too long. Sort of flopping backwards and forwards a bit.
And now I'm really pissed off because I missed this deer twice, so I am just gonna lamp it one.
Go on.
15.
15 hits.
Yeah.
That is 5 damage.
5 damage. Amazing. So you lamp it one so hard, its head and its little bit of spine just snaps that little bit further off, and the body collapses onto the ground and stops moving.
And Gwendolyn looks at Enkidu and says, 2 down, 3 to go.
Enkidu absorbs the 3 hit points from the beast and goes, I think you've given me a bit of pep in my step. Thanks.
And Enkidu, it's your turn.
Bonus action, I'm gonna press my left hand underneath my armpit and Hexblade Curse, and the one next to me, so I can move my cursor over to it as bonus action, and I'm gonna swipe it with the scimitar.
Nice.
17 to hit.
17 definitely hits.
Oh yeah, baby. 1d3. Oh my gosh, again! 4 points of slashing damage.
4 points. 4 points is enough to knock this thing down again. You manage, as with one of your flourishes, you manage to swipe its legs, sort of duck out of the way of its mouth, swipe one of its legs to the point that it basically takes it out. But however, even though it's got one leg, it sort of slumps into the dirt. It's doing the same thing over the one as the one that's going for Orryn, and it's just scrabbling forwards, trying to get to you. Gaius, it's your turn.
Gaius is going to look at the monsters in front of him, his friends fighting them. He's going to notice again that Juna has got 2 of these thrashing beasts in front of her, so he's going to pick one of them and throw a string of insults towards it, and is going to cast Vicious Mockery at the deer.
I love Vicious Mockery so much.
Amazing. How do you insult a deer?
Ooh, I heard you through the grapevine. Heard spelt H-E-R-D. That you're gonna die right now. That's gonna be 2 damage, and it's disadvantage on its next attack.
Amazing. So it's still standing, but there is a very brief moment. This one deer looks up over Juna's head at you, shakes its head in disappointment, and then returns to thrashing about. It is Gaius. Do you have any bonus actions you want to do?
How's Orryn looking at the moment?
I'm good. I'm looking fine. I've just got a deer hanging on my foot, but he's looking fine.
Okay, cool. Alright, in that case then, I'm just gonna go with Orryn, he's gonna kill all the deer in this damn place. And now, Bardic Inspiration as well to you, sir.
Oh,
Brilliant. Yeah, Juna, over to you.
Yeah, Juna has got a staff on this deer's eye, the one that's going for Orryn. I think she's seen what happened to the deer, and she wants to get that quarterstaff in its eye with a 16 this time.
16 hits.
Hooray!
Yeah, especially with it being on the floor. Roll damage, just to be sure.
4 damage?
4 damage, yeah.
Bludgeoning.
So, especially where this one is like on the floor, like going after Orryn's foot, you manage to just position like your quarterstaff and just like push it down and like push almost its face sort of squelches a little bit as like you push it in, almost as if the bones have just gone a little bit not rubbery but like a little bit soft. So like you push it, hold it into the eye and just push down, and there's like a as you like push and you feel your staff go right the way through the skull into the dirt below, and as you sort of pull it back out again, it stops moving. The whole carcass is limp on the ground. That's actually 2 dead carcasses you've got at your feet now, Juna. But there's a third live one scrabbling over them both, trying to get to you.
As a bonus action, can she just wipe the bottom of her quarterstaff on the grass?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
It is Orryn's turn.
Orryn, now there's this gradually building pile of dead deer in front of him. There seems to be a bit of distance, I think, now to his nearest deer. He's going to pop his hammer back on his belt, pull out his blowtorch and his welding torch, and fire it towards the nearest deer, if he may.
Nice. Yeah, it's about 10 feet away, so you've got plenty of space.
Fab. Oh, not good. 9.
Nine does not hit.
Oh, hang on. Oh, could Bardic Inspiration.
Bardic Inspiration.
Yes!
12?
No. You need a 13.
Oh!
So close.
So close.
And like it's you aim up and you think, I'm about to, and then it lunges for Juna again. So you just tilt up a little bit and it just shoots this little globule of flame right the way over. It is the deer's turn. It's going to attack you, Juna, but that's only a 10 to hit you. That one's fine. Yeah, and it, like I say, it's just like snapping away over your head, but you manage to just like hold it at bay with your amethyst stick. Enkidu, the one that you've managed to take out one of its legs, it's like it scrabbles forward and tries to bite you. That's a 14 altogether.
Oh, that just hits.
In which case, you take 4 points of piercing damage. As this thing like latches onto your shin and just like starts like tearing like chunks of it out. Gwendolyn, what are you doing?
I am going to, this time I'm going to throw my spear at the deer that just had a snap at Enkidu. 13.
13 hits.
Oh, yeah. Woohoo! That's 4 damage.
So, yeah, this spear goes whizzing past Enkidu's face, and especially with like this other deer's like sort of like scrabbling along the floor. Like from your position in the tree, like whoosh, throws down straight into the side of the deer, and it rolls away from Enkidu onto the ground. It's like it's almost lying on its back, struggling to get back up again, like its little legs kicking out. For a brief moment, it stops breathing, and then just stops completely.
It does.
It does. That's 3, Gwen, that you've killed. 3
Okay,
deer.
and for my bonus action, because this is like, for Gwendolyn, this is like a training session right now. She's having so much fun. So she is going to do a, probably like a fancy schmancy cartwheel and go an roundhouse kick, that like ends in a roundhouse kick at the last deer on the pitch.
Okay, make an athletics check first. Or an acrobatics check, rather.
13 for my acrobatics.
13. It's not the neatest cartwheel you've ever done. Especially as you go into the cartwheel, you're still sort of stood in the fallen tree, so your hands just collide with like bits of branch.
My dress gets caught in it a little bit, and I got
Yeah. So as you come back up, you're not entirely like sort of steady, but you are close enough to try and hit this deer. So make your attack roll.
the natural 1.
All right. In which case, for a natural 1, what's going to happen is that cartwheel carries on, and you just then collide with the ground face first. For a brief moment, it's very cool, and then it's very much not. Enkidu, it's your turn.
Yeah, seeing that, once again, I'm stupefied. Like, what? You're clearly capable. You don't have to put on a show. And I'm charging up the Eldritch energy in my left hand, and I'm shooting an Eldritch blast at the last deer.
Amazing. Make an attack roll.
Oh, 17.
17 definitely hits, yeah.
Oh yeah, D10. I don't add anything to it, do I? It's a 1.
Gwendolyn looks out of, like, she's got her face in the mud and she sees that.
Yeah, it's an impressive light show, Gwendolyn. Enkidu's shooting these like pale greenish beams just into the sky, and one of them, collides with the side of the deer, but it's like it doesn't seem to do much beyond touch the deer. It barely reacts. Gaius, it's your turn.
Okay, so what Gaius is going to do is he is going to charge in with, like, brandishing a dagger from his side and charge straight in and just go, okay, I got this one, straight forward with it, feeling inspired by his friend. And he is going to roll an attack. 24 to hit.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they go straight into the deer's side.
His damage is going to be 7 piercing damage.
Fantastic. So Gaius charges in from behind you all as you're all struggling with this last deer. Little dagger just in 2 of his hands, like barely like really in control of it, but like collides straight with the deer's side, and like tumbles on top of it as the dagger sinks into its rib cage. And this thing like falls over, especially with his charge over, and the 2 of them go tumbling into the ground. And for a brief moment, like, Gaius is just like there twisting the dagger, and this thing is like bucking a little bit, but then it like slowly just stops, like lets out a couple of horrible raspy breaths, and then just stops completely.
Woohoo! Go Gaius!
Dear listeners, I hope you enjoyed everything you just heard. And yes, those puns were intentional. Grace here, as usual, to say hey and give you a little update on what is going on with us. If you didn't already know, we are on social media. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at No Small Roles. And if you want to find our Facebook page, just search No Small Roles. Roll spelt ROLLS, as in roll up, get your bread rolls. If you fancy seeing the map we used in our zombie deer battle, then do go to our social media. You will find it there along with the resources David used to create it. We love getting to interact with you, so please do tag us in your memes and your fan art. I, for one, would love to see some awesome zombie deer after this episode. It's wonderful being part of the D&D podcast community, and this week we have teamed up with some new friends from across the pond, Rolling on Fate. We're doing a little advert swap, so do listen out for them at the end of this episode. And if you too would like to get yourself an advert or a shout out on this very show, then you can do so by sponsoring No Small Roles. Just slide on into our DMs and we'll see what we can do. Episode 5 will be out on Sunday the 23rd of August, so make sure you subscribe to us on your favourite podcasting app. And if you haven't already, please do leave us a positive review on iTunes. To all of you who have been recommending us to your friends, your family, and even your pets, we would like to say a huge thank you to you all. It really does mean the world to us, so thank you. Thank you with a cherry on top. That's all from me for now. Let's take you back into the woods.
Guy is shaking. Oh god. Oh boy.
I reach out and I kind of like grab his bicep and just kind of give him a little shake and like, you know, tap him like, you're right, mate.
Gwendolyn like does one of, you know, those really cool like jumps up from like your back, like just so like she's covered in mud, she's an absolute mess. She does what. Well, should I roll for it? Probably.
Can we get a t-shirt that says, should I roll for it? Probably.
That would be, yet again, 13.
13's enough just to stand up, yeah. Maybe it's just like the slipperiness of the moss and the mud underneath you that you're like, why is none of this looking so cool? Like, it's all just slightly less refined than she has been.
Yeah, she's not trained for a while, so I think she's probably a bit rusty. She gives Guy a massive hug.
And his sleeves are once again covered in blood.
Oh, you were so brave, Guy!
Oh yeah, like, hey, like I just came in, bada bing, bada boom, and did what needed to be done.
You did very well, Guy. You did very well indeed. Well done.
I'm a contender, what can I say? He never saw me coming. Everybody else, my god, like that was insane.
I mean, that was a lot of fun, especially with there being 5 of us in total. I just feel, you know, I'm a bit rusty, but I feel invigorated by it all.
Let's just accept the fact that we just fought undead deer.
I thought you guys met an undead panther. Why is this a surprise?
We did.
Yeah.
That rather strange Crowl fellow said that he'd fixed the panther. I imagine he's been fixing the deer as well.
Was he anywhere near here that you met him?
Can we work out if we're near to where we fought the undead panther?
Make a survival check.
A 7.
You're in the same woods?
Possibly it was near here. I'm not quite sure.
All right, okay.
Is the sparrow still around?
Oh my god, yeah, our sat nav.
Unfortunately, with all of the chaos, it's you can't see it anywhere. In fact, a lot of the like local little wildlife seems to have scarpered. You can see, having like killed the deer, that there is another dead animal that they were clearly feasting on. And from the size of it, bear size. It doesn't look much like a bear anymore. It's just mush and blood and fur, but they were eating another animal.
Can I inspect the deer meat to see how long they've been undead?
Yeah, make a medicine check.
19.
19. Actually, do you know what? It doesn't look too decomposed. It looks It looks damaged. It looks, especially where all of you have fought and like killed these things as well. It looks like something had killed them previously. There's extra damage on it above what you have all sort of inflicted on these poor things. But the meat itself hasn't. It maybe looks like a day or two old. Maybe not good enough to eat. Like it's gone a little bit grey. But ultimately, like from that check, they've not been dead all that long.
Might I suggest that we maybe chop up this bear? I don't know if that Crowl fellow's around, but we could maybe chop it up and like throw the pieces away. I don't much fancy fighting against an undead bear as well.
I'd suggest we cut its legs off, because if it's undead, the way those deers are moving around, I don't think it needs its head very much.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Chop off all the pointy bits?
Absolutely, and I pull out the scimitar and I go to work on this bear.
Yeah.
Guy is gonna like cover his mask with his hand, but he's just gonna leave a little bit just to be like, oh god.
While this is happening, if we're going to be here for 10 minutes or so, can I spend 10 minutes fiddling with my goggles to set them to detect magic as a ritual, just to be able to have a little look at the bodies and just try and figure out if I can see
it'll take the others about sort of 20 minutes or so just to thoroughly check the mush that is a dead bear. Enkidu, you're like, as you're cutting it away, you find like a few odd feathers attached to this thing in amongst all the fur.
Whilst they're chopping up the animal and Orryn's going for his goggles, can I just go and stand next to Gwen and put one hand on hers and just really softly, so only she can hear, I'm gonna say to her, Kasula would have been really proud of you today, Gwen. I hope you know that.
And feeling a bit awkward, but nice. Gwendolyn decides that she's going to fish into the guts of the leftover carcasses to get out her really nice dart that she threw earlier and retrieve her spear. She's getting a bit more comfortable with the blood. She still doesn't really like it, but she's feeling safer than she did before now that there are others with them.
Mm-hmm. And you're not too far from like little ponds and things that have just gathered. So if you did want to like wash them off, like you can like take care of the darts, for instance. Orryn, as you're sort of detecting magic and looking at the carcasses, there is a faint aura around them. It seems to be quite rapidly fading as they've all died. But with detect magic, you can see that there's obviously been some necromantic magic used on them to reanimate these things. There doesn't seem to be any, as you sort of do a quick scan of the area, there doesn't seem to be anything else nearby that's magical. And the dead bear thing, also equally not magic.
Okay, I'll just shout out to the rest. Yeah, it's definitely it looks like some sort of necromantic power has been used on these things.
I see. And I pull out the feathers that I find and say, would that tie into curiously feathers in the fur? Not in the stomach itself, but I don't think this might not have been fully a bear.
Was it on the bear you found that?
Yeah, and the feathers. I mean, quite a few. Maybe it was simply an owlbear.
What's an owlbear?
As it is, it's a bear with a face and features of an owl.
We have like tracks and stuff, like where these any direction that we could go with, unless our little sparrow can tell us.
The sparrow's gone, Guy. The sparrow flew away, never to be seen again.
But we have very handy set of goggles amongst us. They seem to have some kind of multi-function. Are you able to track things with it, friend?
Yeah, I mean, they can do different things. I mean, today, to be honest, they can only really detect magic. I'd have to spend a bit more time tinkering with them to make them do other things.
Well, maybe we should just keep walking the way we were facing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we can go back. I don't think we've really...
If it takes a few hours to return to Tillisham, it'll be dark by the time we get there.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of like staying in the woods with a witch at night, specifically.
I mean, we did stay in the woods before, and there's more of us now.
Yeah, that's true as well. So we could and like keep an eye and keep watch. You got those amazing goggles.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best at seeing at night.
Same here, buddy. But we got fire.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out, don't you worry.
And maybe this witch will be attracted to us, and our energy in the wood, and
That's
then
true.
she will come to us, and we don't have to go looking for her, and then we can strike.
I think that would be the worst possible scenario you can
Yeah,
think of.
I like the what's the phrase? Don't like mountain come to Muhammad, but Muhammad come to the mountain. Whatever. But I like that. But the thing about striking, let's gauge it when we see her. Who disagrees with the idea of staying in the woods?
I think we should stay in the woods. We have no idea how long it will take us to reach this woman.
Okay. Do we want to stay here with all the dead things around us?
I think we came from that direction. She points to sort of behind you, right, where they've come from. So I think it stands to reason we should go in that direction, and points in fronty left.
We have a few more hours of daylight. We can probably find somewhere that's a bit more, camp-like. And we can pick up some sticks and things to help us set up a good camp along the way.
By this point, June has started, very slowly moving north/in fronty left.
You start heading fronty lefty. Can you, if you're looking for sticks, Gwendolyn, can you make a survival check, please?
I sure can, baby David. 9.
9. You find some sticks.
Yeah, I do.
These are not good security setting up sticks, but they might do for dry firewood, perhaps.
How thick in the forest are we?
As you sort of head back, as you carry on your way, it does dip in and out of being open and quite entangled. There are sections that you're almost having to cut your way through some low bushes and vines and things. But largely there's always enough. There's enough footpath. It's slow work, but there's some of it's clambering over quite thick roots of trees, but then it'll again open up into another small clearing that you can pass through quite easily. It's a bit all over the place, this poolwood. There are quite a few little streams and things as you go as well, so you all stop and have a quick drink and carry on. As you're walking and just having a look around, can everybody make a perception check?
14.
3.
10.
7. I'm rolling cack.
Maybe try rolling dice.
Oh.
Hey.
In which case, Orryn, you spot him first. There's a half-elf gentleman, sort of trumping. Everything's trumping through this woods. It's just a loud word so much. Yeah,
It's because there's so much fruit in the woods.
Walking. He's just walking through the woods.
Keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
It's probably about 5'10", 5'11", this chap. Half-elf from what you can see, sort of a ruddy, rosy-cheeked guy, black coal hair, tied back. He seems quite broad, but he's having no trouble walking through this wood at all, whereas the rest of you are clambering over things occasionally. He's just he seems to have an air that he knows it quite well. But what's more shocking, or sort of worrying for you, is that he's got a massive deer carcass over one shoulder.
Does it look like the guy we've seen before?
No.
Is this Krell?
That other guy was more Gollum-y, hunched and shriveled. This guy, he just seems fairly normal, just at home in the woods.
I relay that.
Yeah. I mean, he's strong enough to carry a deer.
Well, maybe we should just say hello.
I'm willing to risk it. I mean, we need some kind of help. We have no idea where we're going.
I look to the other 4 and go, cover me. Juna comes out, looking as old lady as she can.
The guy, as he's walking along, he seems to be in a little world of his own and hasn't noticed you all sort of approaching. So has a brief moment that he almost drops this carcass and stops and looks at you and is like, sorry, what?
What's your name, young man? It's very rare to meet someone coming through the forest.
It's very rare for people just to approach me in the forest.
Just at that moment, I throw some leaves over Juna.
The guy drops the carcass at this flurry of leaves and just goes for a sword at his side.
Oh, no, there's no need for that. I'm Juna. It's lovely to meet you. And you are...
Matrim. Matrim Brood. I work here. What brings you to the forest? Who are you? You're not locals.
We're looking for the witch.
He sort of relaxes a little bit and looks at you all and goes, I wouldn't bother with her.
Oh, why not?
if you're in need of a witch, then I can't be trusting you, unfortunately. And he starts picking up the carcass again. Leaves it onto his shoulder.
Wait. What do you mean you can't trust us if we're in need of a witch?
I mean, she's a witch. If you're looking for a witch for help, then you're probably not good folk. That's just an assumption.
No, we're not looking for a witch for bad things. We're on the hunt for some sort of cure for this here gallows cough. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, there's not been any new cases in years.
Where are you from?
I'm just in Tillisham.
Juna, would you maybe explain to our new friend here why us also were looking for this Rowana? Rowana
we want to see what's going on with this here gallows cough. There's people that still need this medicine, and apparently she's the one that can help us. So our intentions are pure. You need to understand that. It's just we don't really know what else to do.
We've got a doctor in town that deals with all of that, though.
I hope you're not talking about this Dr. Hograd. Because if you're from Tillisham, young man, then you'll know she's missing. I'm going to perception check the hell out of this man.
Insight check him. Insight check.
I want to insight check even better because I got better scores, but yeah. Low 6.
6. The impression you get is that he is not aware that the doctor is missing. So that is new information for him from his reaction. There's some concern in his face. And his demeanour slightly shifts.
No, wait. I can't believe that we've been
home
in Tillisham a day and we know that Dr. Hograd is missing. And you live in Tillisham, but you don't know this.
I mean, to be honest, I spend most of my time here in the forest.
What do you do in the forest? What do you do in the forest?
I'm gamekeeper for the Vondel estate.
Of course you are.
So that's what I don't mean to be rude, but I mean, I really should have been back a while ago with this.
Do you, by any chance, I mean, obviously, you don't think that witches are good people, potentially, but do you know if you could send us in the right direction? Either she can help with the gallows cough, or she might have something to do with the burglary at the knocking point. We're interested to find any information we can. We just want to help people out, really.
Why would she have anything to do with
detected magic, friend, in the place where the things were stolen from the knocking point, and going around town speaking to others, it turns out there aren't any magic users in around Tillisham apart from Lady Vondel herself or the witch. And we guess the witch would be the most likely to cause any kind of mischief, so this is why we're here.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, I suppose, yeah. I wouldn't know anything about that, but if you're saying there's magic involved, it's probably, yeah. It wouldn't be Lady Vondel, so it must be the witch.
Can I insight check him again, or have I burned?
You can insight check him again if you like.
Still don't trust this dude. That's more like it. Dirty 20.
In which case, can everybody else take off your headphones? So there is, as you're sort of looking at him, especially talking about the brewery and he seems to know something about that, about the burglary. But with the suggestion that it's magic involved, he also seems very happy to just support that idea. That it's, it must be the witch. Like, you can see that he's latched on to that reasoning rather than, and is trying to convince you of your own thoughts, which then makes you doubt that whole situation yourself.
Okay, so I'm like, he's trying really hard to make us, support the witch.
Or to make you
He's
think.
Covering something up.
Exactly. He almost seems too eager to confirm that it was the witch that took it, or was involved. So, yeah, that which then makes you doubt completely whether or not that's necessarily what's happened. Headphones back on, everyone. Yeah, I don't know. She seems, the witch, she lives in a bog up north, the north end of the forest. But it's probably about 2 days' walk, I'll be honest.
2 days?
But you think it would be worth it to walk that far?
Yeah, if you think she's got something to do with all of that, and if you need her for the gallows cough, I suppose, yeah, she might be able to help out about that stuff, yeah.
Well, that's very helpful of you then, young man.
Friend, we are also under the assumption that if this witch is as ill-favoured as I have an impression she may be, it may come down to a fight. And there are things in this woods that are not friendly. and if we are to last the journey there, we're going to need a place to rest. I don't want to burden you too much. I know you have your own duties out here, but would you be willing to either help us out, point out a good place in the surrounding area to stay, or do you have lodgings nearby that could possibly house the 5 of us just for an evening?
I'll be honest, I make most of my excursions straight out of the estate, so I don't have lodgings as such around here. What I would say is that there is stuff going on in these woods recently, all at night, so I wouldn't camp here if you're not prepared for a fight.
Perhaps, if it's going to take us 2 days to get there, perhaps we want to go back to Tillisham and get supplies this time. We also have that luncheon tomorrow.
Maybe it doesn't feel like the most important thing in the world right now.
Well, yes, but Guy might be able to get some money from playing, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I find myself a bit purse-light right now.
I think that sounds like a lovely idea. We go back and then we come back for the witch.
And we might even be able to find some transport, make the journey quicker.
Yeah, I mean, from Tillisham, if you were to follow the river up, it would probably sort of save you a bit more time than just the river at the north end of the town. If you just follow that into the woods, it'd save you a bit more time, lead more toward the bog than if you were from here anyway. Still take your day and a half.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. Are you heading back now? Because I can lead you out if save you a bit of time like that.
Would that be very much appreciated?
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
No worries, no worries. Sorry, I don't mean to ask again. What are your names?
Juna.
Juna, yeah. Hi, Juna, yeah.
I'm Gwendellyn Fabulosa.
I'm Orryn.
Hi, Orryn. Yeah.
I'm Guy.
You sing, do you? You got that lute?
Yeah, I sing. I have many talents. One of them especially is singing and performing songs. And I also have any sonnets. If you want me to sell you a love sonnet, you got a little lady they want to impress, I'm your guy.
Maybe, how much?
Normally it's 5 silver for the sonnet. And for a private performance of mine, I normally come out at least 5 gold.
I mean, I don't know about performance, but if you can write one as we walk back, I'll give you 5 silver. I'll give it to my wife. All right, and you at the back with the big sword? It's more if we're walking through the forest, I want to shout your names out so anyone else knows to come and kill you if you attack me.
Enkidu, and I say, like, you're in good hands here, friend. And I just, a little mage hand pops out and gives a thumbs up. This scaly mage hand with the claw.
It has emojis following him everywhere.
Fantasy emojis.
I'll just keep on my speed, all right? And he turns and he starts, like, sort of tromping away. Because everyone tromps in the woods. So you get back at around sort of 7, 8 o'clock at night. The sun's just starting to dip. And you're all still a little bit hungry. I say a little bit. You had that whole deer escapade. And so whilst you've been eating like some pears as you go along, you don't necessarily feel all that full. When you sort of make it back toward the town though, Matrim like drops the carcass down, starts rummaging into his pockets and pulls out 5 silver. And goes, go on then, where's your sonnet?
And I whip out one of my sonnets and I'll just be like, what's your wife's name?
Dahlia.
Dahlia. To Dahlia. Love. And then I just need your inscription just here.
MB, Matrim Brug.
And there we go. And boom. There you go. 5 silver, please.
Yeah, there you go. That's nice. That's fancy.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh,
tell your
like
friends
that.
I'm in town for at least, how long are we going to be here for?
Well, at least till lunch tomorrow.
At least till lunch tomorrow. So tell your friends that we're at the knocking point.
Oh, you're staying there?
Yep.
Why do you say it with that tone, young man?
Well, just with the robbery and that, I didn't realise they were still renting rooms. That makes sense, actually. It's the only place in town that does rent rooms. So, anyway, and he hoists up the deer carcass again, just gives you all a nod and walks off toward the Vondel estate.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I do not trust that half-elf. I'm going to say it now. I'll say it again. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
I kind of I nudge Orryn and say, can you use your goggles, see if that magic kind of essence from the deer earlier is on this man here?
I'm going to be honest, it's probably going to take me 10 minutes to do it.
Damn it. It's a long walk. It's a long walk, to be honest.
Yeah, if you want to nudge me earlier in the walk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can retcon it that you drop back a little bit.
Retcon?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, yeah, if I can spend 10 minutes while we're walking along, tuning up my goggles.
Yeah, cool.
And then just sort of quietly, subtly at some point just slip them on, just try not to make too much of a scene about it.
He does seem to be carrying something that's magical. It's a faint transmutation essence around his belt. Not the belt itself, just something in one of the pouches. But anyway, back in town.
Back in town, I still don't trust the guy. I still don't, as far as I can throw him.
Juna, I saw you giving a lot of shifty looks to him when he wasn't looking. Like, you just get the feeling, or like
He works for Vondel. He wants us to chase a witch. He knows something about those brewery robberies. I think there's something fishy going on in that Vondel place. Doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem right.
Wait, hang on. Sorry, Miss Stepthorne, hang on. He knows about the robbery, but he doesn't know that the doctor is missing. That doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up, does it? No.
Well, no, none of the actual people from the town know about the robbery. When we were speaking to Mia before, they seemed quite shocked that we knew about the robbery. Not the one at the knocking point. I mean the one at the doctor's. So I think it's been kept under wraps. Should we
let's follow him? Yes.
who here is the stealthiest, the sneakiest?
I can not be seen.
It's been in my previous job before to be sneak.
And also, we do need to find out where their home is, because we're going there for luncheon tomorrow. So even if we get seen, we have a good excuse.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Juna's very good at slinking into the shadows.
Yeah, so is Enkidu, actually.
I think, to be honest, I think a lot of you have all got proficiency in stealth, don't you?
Yeah.
Does Gwendolyn have it? Yeah, I think you're all proficient. As like that slow realization that actually you're all sort of up for sneaking around. Everyone make a stealth check, and it almost becomes a bit of a competition as you start moving through town.
Oh.
19.
Dirty 19.
Orryn, what'd you get?
23.
Oh, yes!
Very nice.
Sneaky.
21.
Amazing.
21 for
Oh my
Gaius.
God. Killing
And
it.
Gwendolyn, what'd you get?
Another fucking 13.
You're stuck on
So
13, so it's
unlucky.
very unlucky. So Gwendolyn, you start off, and you think you're doing pretty well for stealth until you get to Servelt Square, at which point, with the small crowds that are mingling and sort of gossiping and packing up for the day, you just get a little bit, there's one too many people glancing over at you and whispering to each other, so you're like, oh, I've been spotted. Enkidu and Juna, seeing that Gwendolyn is almost distracting a lot of the crowd, the two of you sort of break off, and you can see each other circling around like the edges. Very little people are taking notice of you. You dip into an alleyway or so, and you pop out. However, none of you have noticed where Gaius and Orryn have gone. You also reconvene on the other side of the square, and you're like, you have no idea until Guy steps out of the shadows from behind you all. And he's like, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
And it's only that Orryn suddenly appears, because he's chosen to, at like the far end of another street. You're all slightly mind blown that he's gotten that far, considering he's got so many tools and things on him. You'd think he clanks all over the place, but he has ended up like 3 or 4 sort of like bisections ahead of you.
Amazing.
I will slow clap with admiration.
Yeah. I'll kind of like give him like a very slow nod.
And you all reconvene again, and the main road out of Servelt Square actually leads over to a little bridge. That when you get to it, you can see very clearly from one side of the river to the north of the town that the bridge, the road on the bridge, splits almost straight away on the other side of the river. One of them winds off into loads of farmland, but the other one goes directly into a walled estate. And from your view, it's quite a spacious thing. There's a large manor in the center of it. Sort of further back beyond that, there's loads of trees and things, but the entire thing, like I say, is walled off. Curiously, over to the east, like just tucked behind the manor proper, you can see a crumbled tower that is sort of stood alone, just apart from the rest of the building. Probably about 2 stories high. It looks very old. And like I say, it's crumbled, but it's almost a little bit too perfectly crumbled.
Oh, the person in the shop, the store of plenty. She told us that they built this special tower that they made it look like this on purpose. Oh, that's really rather clever, isn't it? It does look very old, but it's not.
What?
A mock ruin.
Why would you do such a thing?
To be fancy, I don't know.
Make a history check, Gwendolyn.
It's a fake World Heritage Site?
That is a 17. Yay!
A 17. Yeah, like coming from an ability, especially with Orryn saying the word folly, you'd never quite like piece together what people were talking about when they meant that. But yeah, it's like a show off of wealth to build a fake crumbling tower, almost. Just to say, look, we've got so much money, we can build things that look like shit.
I tell everybody that, remembering that. Oh yes, I remember. Yes, that's what they do. It's a very popular thing for rich people to do.
Rich people are weird.
Rich people are weird, man.
Rich people are definitely weird.
I mean, not all rich people are weird.
Most. But, to each their own. As long as they got coin, and that coin is loose, and that coin is going in my pocket. So which way to this manor, then? Which direction?
Juna puts a tiny gnome hand on each of Gwen's cheeks and gives her a little on the forehead. Says, don't mind them.
So the manor is very definitely on the other side of the river, and it's very easy just to cross the bridge and follow the road up to its gate. But as you're all stood there staring at it with the sun setting behind you, that's where we'll leave today's session.
Such fun.
You have been listening to David Knight as your Dungeon Master, Ben Galpin as Orryn, Chris Watts as Gaius, Darrel Bailey as Enkidu, Grace Kelly Miller as Gwendellyn, and Vicky Gaskin as Juna. Original music by David Knight. Please tell your friends, subscribe and follow us on all the social medias. Thank you for listening to No Small Roles. Anon for now.
Join our adventurers as they discover how strange portals alter Revelheim.
Do you hear that, Amesley? Our Lord Paylor blesses us.
I didn't realize you worshipped a salesman. Actually, Marion, I'm pretty sure this is an ad.
Rolling on Fate is an actual play D&D podcast.
D&D? I love death caps and dish rags. Nurtured, what's a podcast?
It is an interdimensional sonic communication feed, Vanilla. Very simple.
Nortrude, are you indicating that we're in trouble? Peleus, did you hear that? I actually had a good one. Peleus?
You can find Rolling on Fate every other Wednesday wherever you download podcasts.
You mean podcasts.
Taylor! Anyone!